The Texas miracle is real. The job growth is real. The population numbers are real. But so is this. Collin County just recorded its largest year-over-year home value drop in at least 25 years. And that is just the beginning of what this data shows. For a decade, the pitch was simple. Move to Texas. No state income tax, booming energy, tech jobs pouring in. Buy a house today and thank yourself in 5 years. Millions believed it. And for a while, millions were right. Then 2022 happened. Mortgage rates doubled. The remote work wave reversed. Tech companies started laying off instead of hiring. And the suburbs that were built on the assumption that the momentum would never stop started showing the math they were always hiding. In 2026, the Texas housing market statewide is in a modest reset. Prices dipped just 0.8% year over year. Inventory up 7.4%. Average days on market stretching to 112 days. Those are balanced market numbers. But inside those averages are 10 suburbs where the numbers are not balanced at all. Collin County, home to Frisco, McKinney, and Prosper, just posted its worst year-over-year price decline in 25 years, down 6.1%, according to Zillow data confirmed in May 2026. Frisco alone is down 8.7%. Round Rock's price per square foot dropped more than 15% in a single month. And the property tax crisis in Williamson County has turned the Austin suburbs into a financial trap that no one saw coming when they signed. This is the road trip that runs those numbers. Number 10, Frisco. Frisco was the poster child of the DFW boom. Pristine schools, corporate campuses, master planned communities. For 5 years, it could do nothing wrong. In 2026, it is doing everything wrong. According to Zillow data confirmed in May 2026, Frisco's median home value is down 8.7% year over year. Collin County overall has seen inventory spike 62% above its long-term average to over 4,300 listings. Reventure app CEO Nick Gurley called it, in a May 10th post, the largest correction in Collin County in at least 25 years. Realtor.com data shows the median listing price at $500,000, down 4.76% year over year. Homes are sitting 40 days on average before going pending. Builders are competing against each other and against resale homeowners who bought near the 2022 peak. Those sellers are taking losses. There is no other word for it. And Frisco is not the worst of what is coming in this county. Number 9, McKinney. McKinney sits right next to Frisco. Median home value around $497,000, down 4.2% year over year per Redfin. Days on market have climbed over 110% year over year, according to the Texas Real Estate Research Center. Homes that were gone in a weekend 2 years ago are sitting for months. The problem is the rate lock trap. Homeowners who bought at 2.5 or 3% refuse to sell because any replacement mortgage would cost double. This creates a frozen market. The sellers who do list are competing in a market where buyers have all the leverage. The gap between median list price and median sold price has widened to over 8%. A slow, grinding correction. The kind that does not make headlines until it is already deep. Number 8, Prosper. Prosper is where you came for the $1 million plus home on a half-acre lot. The hill country aesthetic, the elite schools, the HOA with the fountain at the entrance. And in 2026, it is precisely this luxury segment that is correcting hardest. Inventory of homes priced above $1.5 million has surged over 50%, according to local market data. Price reductions of $200,000 to $300,000 are now standard. When a builder drops an identical home for $750,000 next door to one you bought for $1 million, your equity does not just shrink, it effectively disappears. Average days on market for luxury inventory has crossed 100 days, 3 months of carrying a massive mortgage on a vacant property. The higher they flew, the harder they are landing. Number 7, Selena. Selena is the edge of the edge, an exurb built on the promise of driving until you qualify. People pushed out of Frisco, and Prosper came here for new homes they could actually afford. What they got was homes they could afford to buy, but could not afford to live in. 2-lane farm roads choked by 10,000 new homes, schools and trailers, the nearest grocery store 20 minutes away, and a commute to Dallas that, when companies started calling workers back to the office, became a daily 2-hour nightmare. Foreclosure filings in Selena and surrounding zip codes are among the highest in the state, per Adam Data Solutions. Inventory has swelled over 60%. Price cuts averaging $35,000 on $400,000 homes are now the baseline. The work-from-home assumption that built this city has collapsed, and the residents are the ones left with the bill. Number 6. Leander. Leander was the fastest-growing city in America for several years running, and it was priced accordingly. What the growth stats never mentioned was Williamson County's effective property tax rate, running 1.85 to 2.5% depending on your MUD district. On a $600,000 home bought at the 2022 peak, that is $11,000 to $15,000 per year in property taxes alone, before mortgage, before insurance, before utilities. Redfin data shows nearly 25% of homeowners who bought in Leander in the last 2 years are now underwater. Inventory is up over 55%. Out-of-state investors who bought rentals sight unseen are dumping portfolios because the tax burden is eating the yield alive. Leander is a lesson in what no state income tax actually means once you read the property tax bill. Number 5. Georgetown. Georgetown ranked 15th nationally in property tax burden in a SmartAsset study published April 2026. That is not a local curiosity. That is a structural problem. The Sun City development made Georgetown a magnet for California and Illinois retirees. They ran one calculation, home price. They did not run the second one. Combined effective Williamson County tax rate of 1.85 to 2.5%, generating median tax bills of $5,800 to $8,500 per year. Bills that do not decrease when your income stops growing. Active adult community homes are sitting 95 days on average. Inventory in senior-focused communities is up over 40%. For the people already here on fixed incomes, this is not a market story. It is a survival story. Number 4. Kyle. Kyle was ground zero for the iBuyer experiment. Zillow, Opendoor, and OfferPad used algorithms to buy thousands of homes here between 2020 and 2022, often overbidding by tens of thousands of dollars. At one point, over 15% of all homes listed for sale in Kyle were owned by iBuyers. They were not just in the market, they were the market. Then the market turned and the algorithms broke. These companies are now unloading portfolios at steep losses. Homes purchased for $450,000 at peak are being sold for $320,000, a $130,000 loss. And they are happy to take it, just to get the liability off the books. For ordinary homeowners competing against a distressed corporate seller dumping an identical floor plan for 25% less is not a competition. You cannot win. This is a man-made correction, built in Silicon Valley boardrooms and paid for by Kyle residents. Number 3. Pearland. Pearland earned its reputation as the safe suburban Houston choice. Good schools, close to the medical center, relatively affordable. But safety has a new cost in 2026, and it comes on the insurance bill. Pearland's Brazoria County carries a combined effective tax rate of 2.26%, one of the highest in the Houston metro, per Tax Drop's 2026 county analysis. And then there is insurance. A Pearland homeowner who testified before the Texas House of Representatives described their insurance jumping from under $700 in 2022 to nearly $3,000 in 2025, without a single claim filed. Primary Houston area homes are seeing similar trajectories. Major carriers have restricted new policies. In flood-prone Harris and Brazoria counties, the insurers that remain are charging $6,000 to $10,000 annually on standard family homes. Inventory is up 35%. Buyers are getting insurance quotes before making offers, then walking away. You cannot build a stable housing market where you cannot get stable, affordable insurance. Number 2. Katy. Katy is Houston's energy suburb. Cinco Ranch, Grand Lakes, Cane Island. Communities built explicitly for the executives and engineers whose careers run on oil and gas. When crude is high, Katy thrives. When energy companies get cautious, Katy feels it immediately. In 2026, energy companies are not crashing, but they are not hiring. Automation and capital discipline are trimming headcounts at the executive level. Houston Association of Realtors data shows sales volume for homes over $500,000 in Katy down nearly 30%. Inventory in that same bracket is up 45%. Harris County's average effective tax rate is 2.37%, generating roughly $7,000 per year for a median value home. Add insurance premiums that have risen sharply in the Houston corridor, and the carrying cost of a $600,000 Katy home in 2026 is materially higher than any spreadsheet from 2021 projected. Katy's entire identity is tied to a single volatile industry. That was always the risk. Number 1. Round Rock. Round Rock was supposed to be bulletproof. Dell headquarters, Apple campus nearby, Tesla, the Silicon Hills. In February 2026, Round Rock home prices were down 5.8% year over year, selling for a median of $388,000 per Redfin. Homes are averaging 104 days on market. Round Rock saw the sharpest correction in price per square foot of any Austin suburb in April 2026, down more than 15% in a single month, landing around $175 per square foot, according to AustinSuburbs.com data published May 2026. Sales volume dropped from 20 sales to 12 in the same month year over year. The tech layoffs that began in 2023 did not reverse. They continued as a slow bleed. Williamson County's effective tax rate of 1.85 to 2.5% means a $388,000 home carries an annual tax bill of $7,000 to $9,700. Before insurance, builders are offering deep incentives to move new inventory. Those incentives are resetting the comps lower every month. By the time a seller gets an offer, the market has moved again. Round Rock is not a market in freefall, but the premium that buyers paid for the Silicon Hills story has evaporated, and there is no clear catalyst to bring it back while rates stay high and the tech hiring cycle stays frozen. 10 suburbs, 3 metros, 1 through line. The Texas miracle was not a lie, but every market that got bid up to 2022 prices was being priced on assumptions that did not survive. Rates would stay low, remote work would stay permanent, tech hiring would never stop. None of those assumptions survived contact with 2023. In 2026, the statewide Texas market is in a manageable reset. But inside that average are pockets where the correction is structural, not cyclical. Collin County down 6.1%, the worst in 25 years. Round Rock down 5.8% with price per foot falling 15% in a month. Pearland and Katy fighting insurance and tax costs that no 2021 buyer modeled. Kyle cleaning up a corporate experiment that failed. If you are buying in Texas in 2026, the data is on your side. Negotiate. Ask for concessions. Run the full cost of ownership, mortgage, taxes, insurance, HOA, not just the purchase price. The sticker is not the story anymore. If this investigation gave you something real, subscribe to State Shift. New deep dive every week. Drop a comment. Which Texas suburb are you watching? And what are you actually seeing on the ground?